Aloha and welcome to Aloha Friday, where greatness is made casual. I'm your host, Shane Austin, professional athlete, mental performance coach. I'm here with my co-host, Dave Austin, former professional athlete and mental performance coach and founder of Extreme Focus. So grab a Mai Tai, which I think you have one, and join us for a dose of greatness to end off your week strong. Today, we're going to talk about optimists versus pessimists. No, we're not going to talk about pessimists. Realists. That's the word I'm looking for. Realists and optimists. Which, hey, realist and pessimist can kind of sometimes fall in the same category. But we are going to talk about
Freudian slip.
we want to identify which one you are and which one we are, and really why it matters, and how it can benefit you, but also how it can hold you back if you're on one of those ends of the spectrum. So we're going to dive into that today. Before we do, always start in gratitude. Start each and every day with gratitude. Dave, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful that we're doing Aloha Friday. First time ever when it's dark out. This is a new experience, but you know what? It is Friday, still Aloha Fridays, and we're coming through. We got tied up with a lot of things, but you know what? We have heard from so many of you how important this is, and we so appreciate that. So we're coming through a little later than we normally do, but we're coming through, right? There's still time on the clock.
We're going to talk later why we're coming on late. So stick around for that. I got some explaining to do with Dave here, my co-host. But
what are you calling me, a realist or an optimist? Oh, wait.
I don't know. We're going to find out. I might be pretty pessimistic on this one. So I just got to say I'm grateful. As you guys know, last week, if you were watching the show, I was not in my normal attire. I was out in the at the Hunt Club. We were getting ready for a sporting clay shoot. It went great. It was one of the best ones they've had. Nobody died, so that's always a good thing. I didn't get shot. It was awesome. Looking forward to the next one this Friday. Yeah, it's just fun. So that's what I'm grateful for today. So with that, we always like to start in with a little bit of trivia. And this,
oh my God, don't do this to me. Oh God.
Because Dave, we get to stump him. But actually, today's a little bit different. But I want everybody who's joining us live or watching the replay to join in the comments and let us know what your score is. So with that said, we're talking about optimism and realism. I want to see if Dave is an optimist or realist. Here we go.
God.
First question. We're going to try to go through this pretty quick, but each one is ranked. There's 3 options for each one. Each one's ranked by a point. I'm going to keep
pessimistic about my chances of getting these right.
I'm going to keep score for you, so you can just give me your answers. But everybody watching at home, make sure you keep score right now. So first one, you wake up in the middle of the night with a stomach ache. Your first thought is, I'm sure it's nothing. I'll just go back to sleep. It's probably nothing serious. I'll just take some medicine. Or 3, this could be serious. I better go to the doctor. Which one comes to your mind first?
Mine is
1, 2, or 3.
It's not serious. I'll just go back to sleep.
All right. So number 1. All right.
Yes, number 1.
Question number 2. So track, that would be 1 point if you went with number 1. If you went with number 2, it's 2 points. You went with number 3, it's 3 points. So keep score back home. Number 2. You apply for your dream job, but you don't get it. You think, I guess this really wasn't my dream job. I'll find a better job somewhere else. Oh, well, you win some and you lose some. I'll never get the job I want. Which one are you?
I'm 1, baby. I'm 1.
You're 1. All right.
I'm 1. I'm not scoring very high, but I am.
Number 3. Number 3. When you are introduced to someone new, you assume that person is a nice person. Keep an open mind about whether you'll like each other. Assume that person won't like or respect you. Come on, rapid fire. This is fire round.
2 on that one.
2. Keep an open mind. All right. All right, number 4. We only got 6 of these, so bear with me here. If someone unexpectedly knocks on your door, you think, great, it's probably a friend, a relative here to surprise me. I wonder who that could be. I'll go find out. Or 3, I'm not answering. It could be a salesperson or even a criminal. Maybe this depends on where you live.
Well, now that's a different answer for me nowadays because we have a gated, we have a gate that someone have to come
through. Overall, if you're in a realistic home.
It would like, wait a minute, how'd they get through the gate? How'd they get through the gate? but I would.
What would you normally go with?
2.
2. I wonder who that could be. I'll go find out.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more. Your boss invites you to have lunch in a restaurant. You say to yourself, I must be getting a promotion or a raise. That's really nice. Number 2, my boss must like to socialize with everyone from time to time. Or number 3, there must be some problem with my work.
So who's my boss? I guess that's my wife.
If she wants to sit down and have a talk with you, are you no. Crap, I'm in trouble?
I'm going to 1. I'm going to 1 on this one.
Yeah, you think so? If your boss is your wife? Now, if your boss is your boss, I think it's easily number 1.
I'm the boss, baby.
If it's your wife, it's like, oh no, I'm going number 3 every time. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Number 6, last one. News about crime or disasters make you, 1, think about how you can help. 2, realize that sometimes bad things happen. Or 3, feel very unsafe. See something on the news.
1.
Bad.
1.
You want to think about how you can help?
Yeah.
Okay. That is it. So tally up your scores. Again, anytime you answered 1 is 1 point. 2 is 2 points. 3 was 3 points. Tally them all up.
I hope this is like golf and better for the low score.
You were an 8, by the way. So your total is an 8. So if you're between 6 to 9 points, you're an optimist. You have a positive outlook.
That's probably true.
Glass half full. 10 to 14 points, you're a realist. You tend to see the world as it really is. 15 to 18 points, you're a pessimist. You have a negative outlook and tend to see the glass half empty. So I'm curious in the comments of what people scored out. I actually scored out a 10. So I'm a realist, but I'm a 10. So I'm right on the borderline of realist and optimist, but I'm on the realist side.
Is that why your number in high school and college? Are you in college and everything and most of your pro career is number 10? You just kind of knew who you were. You owned who you were. I'm 10, baby. I'm right in between.
I gotta see. Did I just mute it? Can I hear you?
I hope.
I can hear you now. Okay. I was trying to get to the comments and then I started hearing us talking on echo. So I want to see what other people are saying. Gosh, it's hard to get to these comments right now. Okay. I see a lot of 3s, some 1s. I see optimists. We got an optimist. we got your wife calling you out, saying that you were honest with those numbers.
What'd she say?
She said, liar, should have been number 3. I don't know which question that was referring to.
Oh, that was the one if she was the one going to me to lunch. All right, but I was trying to look past that. I was trying to,
Kimberly, you're going through a new career path and getting a new job. Love that. It's exciting, but also can be nerve-wracking. We're here for you. We're here for you to either bring you some optimism or realism. We'll see. All right, so with that said, I'm on the realist side. Dave's on the optimist side. I'd say I'm right on the border, though. Dave is, I don't know, you were kind of in the middle of optimism. I wouldn't say you're one end of the spectrum or not. But anyways, very interesting. I don't know how accurate that is, but I thought it'd be pretty fun. All right, so quote of the week. For all of you that follow me on social media, I like to do a quote of the week. This week comes from Epictetus. I hope I said his name right. He's an old philosopher back in the day, Stoic philosopher. Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, baby.
Drew Brees told me one time when I was fortunate enough to work out with him a couple off seasons, and I was going through some challenging times in my college career, and he said, control what you can control. And it was such a simple thing. I was like, I've heard that a million times, but for some reason, maybe because Breeze was telling me, I'm going to listen. But man, was that an impactful saying. And that's just like the quote of the week. All you have is what you can control. A lot of times that's just your attitude. We can't dictate what happens outside of us, but we can always dictate what happens inside. So with that said, I will transition to Coach Dave for the tip of the day, and then we're going to dive into this topic.
All right. So my tip of the day is if you got something challenging or whatever something's happening, many times we'll hide it. We don't want anybody to know what we're going through. But the truth is, then you take it and you leave it to the last second because you haven't dealt with it, because you've tried to do it all by yourself. Where if you brought it out, you include God in your thinking, include someone that you feel close to. Now you've got more power to resolve it and more time to resolve it. If you have a tendency to hold on to it, you're only going to put yourself in more challenging situation, and it's going to have more effect on the people around you because you held on to it. So my tip of the day is you got a challenge, you got something, include those that you think that you know you can trust. And yeah, it might be humbling that you got something, but bring it up early on. That's my tip.
I like it. It's actually a kind of a preview of next week's Queek. I'm not going to say what it is, but that's some good stuff. I want to take a moment real quick because we are going to go right into the discussion now. But I see Rodney's on. Rodney Flowers is with us, and I just want to say I hope you got our donation. I know you got your big launch coming up. I wish I could be there in DC with you. We both do. If you didn't get our donation yet, don't say it in the comments. Reach out to me offline. No, we got it. But I do want to say, if you want to put that link in the comments for anybody that wants to donate to Rodney's cause, please check it out. He's an amazing human being, inspiration inside and out, and I'm just blessed to have gotten to know him over this past year. So,
and I got to say something about that, Rodney. You please put the link in, because anybody out there, it felt so good to contribute to Rodney. It just felt great. You know, sometimes we give and we expect something back, or, you know, we shouldn't maybe expect anything. I didn't know.
I expect something back from Rodney. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but what came back was just such a great feeling, a really good feeling. And how much is a good feeling worth, right? I mean, that's awesome.
There you go.
Rodney's an awesome dude. Check it out. And, you know, if you're inspired, support him.
Yeah, and we'll see today if Rodney's an optimist or a realist. All right, so let's talk about it. We've built it up enough. This is a topic that I'm excited to talk about because it's a discussion I've had with my wife plenty of times, because she's the ultimate realist and I was always the ultimate optimist. And I think the mesh we came together was pretty nice, but we were definitely both ends of the spectrum when we first met each other. And I think it's important to note on both of these topics is that there's pros and cons to both. And I want to kind of explore both of those. Obviously, Dave is an optimist, as we just found out. And I'm on that borderline, definitely not on the pessimist side. I don't think either of us are on that side. Nothing really good comes from that. So we won't even talk about that. We're going to talk about realism versus optimism. So first of all, when you think of optimism, you think of the person that doesn't matter what setbacks, doesn't matter what adversity that they're facing. They just keep trucking on, and they just have that attitude, that will to succeed no matter what. And then you think of a realist, where it's like, well, this is the situation I'm in. And sometimes that can be, like I said earlier, it can be kind of construed also with pessimism. It was like, well, I'm stuck here and I'll never be able to get out. So, oh, well. But I think that there's, like I said, there's pros and cons to both. I don't know if you wanted to dive into.
I do. First. And I'll give you the interesting thing is if you don't mind, I'll use you as an example and someone else. Two different stories that it's interesting.
Don't worry. I'm going to use you as an example too.
I know, God, but you're going to beat me up with it. I'm not going to beat you up. Mine is a positive thing for you. Gee, so, you know, you were this superstar guy, football player, and we went to the, you know, in Pee Wee football, we went to the Super Bowl. You had all this, but they said, well, you were going to be too small to play high school football. But if you would have been a realist, you probably would have said, you know what? They're right. They're really right. But instead, you went, no, you just worked harder than anybody else. And you set every passing record your high school that was only broken this last year. So you held it for quite some years, right? And then, well, would you go on to play professional football? Or not professional, first of all, college, D1 football. So if you'd listed realistic, like, well, no. But you were never realistic. You saw, but you put the work behind it. See, there's a difference when you put the work behind it, right? And then you went on to play D1 football. Now you played professionally for 6 years and had some amazing results because you were a realist would have never allowed themselves to go to where you've gone. But you were also willing to put the work behind it, even with all the naysayers. So here's the other side of the coin. I've had people say to me like, oh, well, I want to go play on the PGA Golf Tour. I said, really? Okay. But they're not willing to put the work in, or they actually don't have the talent, And so even though I'm optimistic in that situation, I am optimistic and I'll say, you know what, if this is what you truly love, then you're going to have to work probably harder than anybody else, because realistically, ain't going to happen unless you are able to go to a level that I don't see right now, but it's going to take the work, the dedication, the love, the perseverance. Just know that's going to be part of your journey. When we see someone on the getting the gold medal, we don't see what's beneath them. And you posted on our Beast Mode On Facebook page a beautiful thing there that shows, struggle, dedication, all the things below the podium. But if they had listened and they stopped somewhere along the line, they couldn't be on that podium to get the gold medal. But at the same time, if you're so optimistic, but you're not realistic in your goals, and, as the example I gave, someone who just doesn't have the physical talent, he or she is going to have to go into overdrive and go beyond what anybody else does to turn it into this amazing experience. And if you think that, well, I'll just do it because I have an optimistic attitude, ain't going to happen. You're going to have to allow yourself to go through the struggle, go through whatever it is to achieve it. But there's two ends of the spectrum.
And I see you kind of interwoven a little bit of both. And when it comes to my career, I understood the realistic statistics, right? The statistics really show you that you got no shot, kid. So that's the realistic side of it. And because I was aware of what that was, but I also had that knowing that, well, some people have done it. It's like, well, why can't I do it? Just because I might be a foot shorter than everybody else, why can't I do it? So in that sense, I ignored reality. And I think that was absolutely beneficial, because there was plenty of setbacks, plenty of adversity that I had to overcome. And without that optimistic view that, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm going to find a way, I don't think I would have been where I'm at today. But also there's that, we have one of our beast animals in our elite training, and I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek at it, is Rezio the bear and the grizzly bear. And what Rezio stands for is resilient optimism. And when you think of a bear sitting at the edge of the water, waiting for the salmon to swim upstream, and they're just waiting for that fish to just jump into their mouth. They're just patiently waiting. They're in the right position, and they're waiting for that perfect fish. They're not going to go jumping out here and trying to chase all these fish because they can't keep up with them. They're resiliently optimistic that fish is going to jump right into their mouth. Now, that's kind of what I had, right? I had the Rezio going into my, going through those challenges. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, if you got Rezio, but you're in the wrong position, that bear's on the side of the road or in the middle of the road, and he's looking for fish. Hey, he could be as optimistic as he wants. He's not going to get anything except for a fender in his face. And the converse side of that is, if you're anti-Rezio, if you're an absolute pessimist and you're sitting in the perfect position, it doesn't matter if a fish hits you in the face, you're not going to see it. And that same goes with life. Opportunity flies all around us, and the ones that are aware for it and ready for it and in position for it and have put in the work, right? Put in the work, and then they can seize that opportunity. When that fish is there, then they know to chomp. But when they're in the wrong position and they got the Rezio, a lot of people are like, well, I'm optimistic and I think it's going to work, but they have no awareness that they're in complete wrong position. They're going in the wrong direction. And that's the toughest part, is getting yourself back into position to have that resilient optimism. So I think that's kind of where I went with my career. So I knew realistically how hard it was and how tough it was, but I was willing to put in the work, and hey, if the opportunity comes, I'm going to bite.
So what you're really saying is awareness is the key, because now think of this. We're late today. I'm going to throw myself under the bus.
I was going to use this. You're going to take my story?
Yeah, because you'll throw me worse than I will. Or maybe I just take it better for myself. So we were late doing the broadcast because
Well, there's no late. We don't have a set
we're
time.
not a set time.
It's
But
just the
we are
sunset.
later than I had told you. So, we had meetings today, good meetings, things that had to be done, but we knew we had Aloha Fridays. And then I had a very important call. And you asked me, well, how long would the call take? I said 20 minutes, and here's the point I'm making is that, well, I was optimistic. I thought, I thought about it. We could pull this off in 20 minutes. It turned into 2 hours. 2 hours. I kid you not.
You just forgot a zero.
I forgot
20 minutes.
No, I said 2 hours. You didn't hear. You didn't put a zero. It's your fault. No, it was 2 hours because the call was so important that I had to do it. But here's the catch. The catch. Being so optimistic, I put you. Now your schedule had to change. Your thing, right? So you can be so optimistic that you affect others in a negative way. It's like then your word doesn't become your word. Now, you might not believe me the next time I tell you 20 minutes.
Oh, no. I stopped believing you years ago. I knew right when you said 20 minutes, I was like, no chance. No chance.
Yeah, but I didn't know
if you're realistic here.
Freaking hours.
You were optimistically assuming you'd be 20 minutes. I was realistically knowing there was no chance you're going to be 20 minutes.
You're very pessimistic on that. No, but you're also real. But so what can I learn?
The results speak for themselves.
What can I learn from this? Says I think, we always say you're either winning or you never lose or you learn. What can I learn? I think for me, the takeaway is I got to become more aware so that my word is my word. I don't want people not to believe in my word. And I think that our word is so important. I really do believe that people can believe in my word because I live my word, other than when it comes to time. My word is not my word. So I need to become
You're very optimistic with time. Let me just
I'm very optimistic with
You're
time.
not realistic at all. You completely ignore reality.
I'm going to throw my wife under the bus, so she's going to laugh on this one. She goes, time expands to meet my every need. So I actually believe that.
Yeah, it's just you put other people waiting.
Yeah, I know.
So think of it.
There is truth to that though too.
I want to ask the viewer though. I mean, how many times have you told somebody, "Oh, I'll be there in 5 minutes," and you know dang well there's no chance you're getting across town in 5 minutes and it's probably going to take longer because of the traffic and lights, and it ends up being 20, 45 minutes. Now, if it's every once in a while, I mean, if it just happens, a fluke deal, that's not a big deal. I mean, you could be optimistic, but when it's something that reoccurs over and over again, what is somebody going to think next time you say, I'll be there in 5 minutes? All right, let me set my watch for an hour and a half. I'll see you soon. That's what I mean when you can be optimistic and I believe I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. I know it, but realistically, it's just not going to happen. And that's going to hurt your reputation. And I think reputation is everything. And that's something that I always want to maintain. And I'm not going to be perfect. I'm guilty of it too. I tell my wife, oh yeah, I'm there in 5 minutes. I haven't even left the house yet. I hope she's not watching, but I do see that she is watching. So anyways,
now you're getting thrown under the bus.
She's saying, I tell you that.
Throw him under the bus. Comment.
See, I thought she would enjoy this discussion because we've debated on realism and optimism before. So I would like to see if I've influenced you at all. Are you still at one end of the spectrum on realistic, or do you feel like you got some more optimism now? The point I'm trying to make in all of this rant is if you're on one end of the spectrum, either one, I don't think it's the most advantageous. I don't think that you're putting yourself in the most optimal position to be your full self. I think that there's a balance. You need to find a happy medium between the two. And then there's a time and a place to be able to ignore reality when you are completely aware of what that reality is. And then you still have that resilient optimism that carries you through. So having that awareness is really what's going to help you. And we have a term, we've mentioned it plenty of times on the Aloha Friday, but SAPA, SAPA. And it's something that I have just dedicated my whole year. I mean, it's the word of the year for me. And it's something that I'm really researching. But it's self-awareness, positive attitude. Can't have one without the other. Oh, you can have one without the other. But we found the best blend is the self-awareness and positive attitude.
That's so awesome. And I just want to say one more thing about being realistic. Who is who are you banking on as far as what's realistic and what isn't realistic? I agree with you wholeheartedly. The self-awareness is the key. But if someone says, well, that's not realistic, and we just follow them blindly, we're living in their realism instead of creating our own.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, not to just buy into what someone else tells you is realistic or not.
Because
when Phil Ehart and I and Kathy did the music and tennis festival, I had all the top presidents of all the major labels say, that's not realistic. That ain't ever going to happen. You'll never get a musician to donate their time for charity. We ended up having Queen, Santana, you name it. Every major act came, and we changed the course of the music industry because of it. But we were willing to be unrealistic, I guess, but we were aware that we had challenges.
Mm-hmm. And that's the key there, is that awareness. Because I want the emphasis here is not that, oh no, you gotta box yourself in. I mean, just like you were saying with other people, forgive them for what they do not know. You don't have to follow them blindly because their limiting beliefs, if you follow that, they're just going to box you in. And we want to live with no box, no boundaries, pure potential. And then you can totally change the world, change the music industry. Those that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are those the ones that can do it. And I full-heartedly believe that. But I do believe in the healthy balance, and that's something that I'm continuing to learn and evolve into. So I love it. I am an optimistic person just by nature. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But again, you fool me once, I'm going to be aware of the next time. I'm going to know your reputation now. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt the first time, but the second time, okay, I'm not just going to follow blindly. So I think that kind of wraps it up. I'm trying to think if there is, I want to leave with this quote. It's not the queek. I already shared the queek, but I felt that this one really fit with our talk today. And it actually was a queek months ago, but it's a quote by Yvonne Chouinard, who is the founder. Yeah. There's no difference between a pessimist who says, oh, it's hopeless, so don't bother doing anything, and an optimist who says, don't bother doing anything, it's going to work out anyway. Either way, nothing happens.
Oh boy, that sums it up perfect. That's on the money, baby. That's on the money.
There's my wife right there. I think there needs to be a balance. That's why I married a man that's optimistic. Together we blend the balance. I love it. Well, shoot, right. I've had a good time. Do you have the to wrap things up? You want to wrap it up with the review of the week?
The review of the week actually comes from June Jones, who was your coach who recruited you out to University of Hawaii. And this is what he says. As Colin Powell, the first African-American commander of our troops, says, there are only two things you have to be the best. One is opportunity, and two is proper training. And that is what the Beast training does.
Well, you heard it first here. You actually heard one of the beasts today, Rezio, and we kind of talked about Nobo. Some of you guys that know about it today, we hinted towards our flying fish. But I gotta say, well, shoot, I've had fun. I forgot what I was going to say. Jeez, I just totally blanked out. This is what happens when we have these late shows. I start having these brain farts. But anyways, with that said, do you have any last words or are you good? Oh, I know what it is. I have the recommendation. I always give some kind of recommendation.
Yeah. Tell me.
What was it? So I listen to podcasts, love to educate and grow. This one is less educational, more entertaining, but definitely worth a listen. Tim Ferriss Show podcast. He interviewed Jamie Foxx a while back. It's one of his most famous shows, and I finally decided to go back and listen to it. And it actually is pretty dang entertaining. It's a long show, though, so definitely use it on a road trip or break it up, but it's a good show. I'm still not even finished with it. Anyways, that's my recommendation. Any last words from Coach Dave?
Love, live, and live on the edge with awareness that you're on the edge and keep moving.
Love it. Love it. And we got that. I pinned your link, Rodney. So it's up there. Anybody that wants to donate to the Game Changer Mentality launch party with Rodney Flowers. You can trust us. He is the man.
He is
so
the
go ahead
man.
and support a great cause. We thank you guys for tuning in, and on a later time, let us know if this was better or worse. I don't know. A lot of these people watch the replays anyways, but at least for our live viewers, now you get to see us if you weren't able to see us on other times. With that said, I'm Shane Austin. I'm here with my co-host, Dave Austin. We're saying mahalo. Thanks for tuning in on this edition of Aloha Friday, where greatness is made casual. We will see you guys next time.
Aloha.